as Allison was saying, there's a lot of other things happening.
And identify areas today that are limiting your ability to expand.
So an omni-channel approach when expanding to other marketplaces improves customer satisfaction because it places your customer at the heart of everything.
Understanding customer need and expectation while you're building out the customer experience. Meet the customer where they shop. They're not just in one place. So hello, my name's Fiona O'Connor. I'm the VP of Marketing here at eDesk, and welcome to today's discussion. I'm very excited about the conversation we're going to have today, as I believe it's a topic that will resonate with many in our e-commerce seller community. So today, with the help of our expert panel, we'll explore the question, how to continue to bring your customers a great experience as you expand your business into multiple channels. According to Statista, multi-channel selling is expected to exceed $491 billion in the US market alone this year. So multi-channel expansion is a great growth opportunity for anybody in the e-commerce selling space. However, whether you're expanding into a new channel or into a new country, maintaining a consistent and seamless customer experience can be difficult. To share their insights and best practice learnings with us today, I'm joined by a panel who are well versed in what it takes to be successful as in the multi-channel space. Join me in welcoming Abby Tavari from Amazon Multichannel Fulfillment, Alison Held from Channel Advisor, and Darren Heafy from eDesk. So welcome everyone, and I'd love if you just we kick off by everybody just giving a quick short introduction, share a little about yourselves, your organization, and how your company has been helping e-commerce sellers. So Abby, if you wouldn't mind kicking off.
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly loud.
My name is Abhi. I've been at Amazon about 8 years now, mostly working in the seller and fulfillment space. I am the director of product and technology for multi-channel fulfillment, which is a role I've had for the past 2 years. MCF is essentially a service that leverages Amazon's fulfillment network to offer the same type of fulfillment experience that customers have come to expect on Amazon for any off-Amazon order. My team is on a bit of a journey to really build this capability out in the right way for our sellers, such that you can be successful selling across multiple channels. And we're investing in multiple capabilities across ship speeds, packaging, integrations, and a lot more. And thanks for having me here.
Oh, no, it's brilliant. And thank you so much for joining us. So Alison, if I'll pass over to you next.
Yeah, thanks for calling on me. So hi, everyone. My name is Alison Held. I'm a senior product manager at Channel Advisor, and I'm responsible for research and product direction for e-commerce destinations like Amazon and eBay, as well as digital marketing channels like Facebook and Google. I've been in the e-commerce industry for 10 years now, and I work closely with our partners, our clients, and Channel Advisor teams to stay up to date with channel developments and build new features and optimize existing features, which is super cool from a job perspective. Channel Advisor as a company has been in the e-commerce industry for over 20 years now, and we help brands and retailers reach buyers across the e-commerce landscape.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Alison.
Absolutely.
And finally, Darren.
Hi, I'm Darren. I'm head of product here at eDesk. Our goal with eDesk is to provide a centralized help desk for online merchants by connecting over 75 marketplaces and web stores so that regardless of where you sell or whatever social media channels you leverage or which communication channels your customers use, you're able to provide a consistent, unified level of support for your customers. I lead the product development function, so our team focus on innovating and improving the suite of e-commerce software products.
Oh, that's great. Thanks very much. And thanks to everybody for joining us here today. Just before we kick off, just a small bit of housekeeping. We'll be doing a Q&A session at the end of the discussion. And if you'd like to ask the panelists a question, please use the question button. It's at the bottom right-hand side beside the chat button. to send your questions through. And if you want to ask a question to a specific panelist, please include their name in the question as well. Great, so let's get started. Firstly, into the first question. It's for all panelists, but Abby, I'll call on you first. So, how can an online seller create a solid foundation to support a high quality customer experience? So what do the best sellers do?
Yeah, I think the way that I'll answer this question is really sort of how I came to be in my role today, and sort of what we really think is important, right? If you think about Amazon and even FBA in particular, right? Like the thing that we really sort of focus a lot on is the end customer experience, right? Providing an excellent customer experience, especially from a delivery and fulfillment perspective, is kind of paramount and sort of the pillar on which a lot of the things that Amazon does well is built on, right? Like if you think of Prime, you think of fast, reliable delivery at cost-effective rates. And essentially, what we are building is, what we wanted to do was offer the same type of experience for a transaction that happens off Amazon, right? We want you to be successful and offer that excellent customer experience in terms of being able to ship items quickly, show that there is a reliable delivery for that end customer at the end of the day, as well as sort of providing some trust for that customer. So some of our top brands that are using MCF are actually using an FBA badge on their own website to show that Amazon is kind of helping meet the different requirements of the customers.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. So next over to Darren, the same question.
Yeah, in terms of e-commerce, customer experience is how effectively customers feel your business communicates and connects with them. And if we take connection first, when building a solid foundation to support a high quality customer experience, it's important to listen to your customers and be where they are. I mean, buyers rarely stick to just one channel when shopping, and sellers need to bring their products to where their customers are, moving towards a multi-channel experience. And not only are today's customers shopping on websites, social media, and marketplaces, but they also expect brands to deliver answers quickly, no matter which marketplace they are in. We conducted consumer research with Citizen Me, and they surveyed over 1,000 US shoppers. And the study revealed that 51% of US marketplace customers say a speedy response is fundamental for good service. And 64% of those people wanted to be within a day. Mm. And this is where having good customer support enabled by help desk software comes in, to help businesses stay on top of those incoming messages and deliver extraordinary support to customers and make their buying experience a positive one. So for me, creating a solid foundation for a high quality customer experience focuses on connecting and communicating with your customers. Be where they are in terms of expanding to other marketplaces and be ready to communicate with them.
Yeah, brilliant. And Alison, same question.
Sure. So I would say that many of the brands and retailers that Channel Advisor has the opportunity to work with are not new to e-commerce, but they're looking for ways to effectively scale their e-commerce business without sacrificing the customer experience. Our most successful clients typically have three primary themes in common. I would say the first is that they are super intentional about how their brand is represented online, and they're focused on creating a unified story across many different buyer touch points, whether that's through an ad on Instagram or a selling channel like a web store or a marketplace like Amazon, or through fulfillment. How is your brand represented across that e-commerce journey today? Our most successful customers are intentional about creating that consistent brand story across all of those selling channels. Similar to what Darren mentioned, buyers don't purchase through a single location. I don't always go to the same grocery store. I don't know about you. They have choice in how they engage with your products, right? So, and where they discover them. So meet them there. I think the second theme we see is that our successful clients have a diversified channel portfolio. That ensures they cover as much of the e-commerce journey as possible. I don't think this means that all content has to be the same or that you treat every selling channel the exact same way. You can still have channel specific strategies, but I think the key point here is really to maximize your brand exposure online. And the third theme that our clients typically have in common here is the ability to grow without sacrificing operational excellence. And this is kind of something that Abby leaned in on because it's critical to channel success. And I think this really means like removing friction where possible to allow and support new selling channels, new products, new geographies, having systems that support your ability to update branded content, product data, quantities, or partners that you leverage for fulfillment so that each additional channel you add is not incrementally more expensive. It is critical to sustainable growth and success.
Yeah, that's brilliant. There's quite a few common themes that that ran through those answers. So I suppose understanding customer need and expectation while you're building out the customer experience. Meet the customer where they shop. They're not just in one place. Making sure you're connecting and communicating with the customer. And, then there's the operational side. We're trying, to be very clean about your operational expansion, so you're not creating any friction. So no, that's some great insight. Thanks very much. So the next question is for both Abby and Alison, but I'll start with Abby again. What are the challenges that an Amazon FBA seller will face when they look to expand into different sales channels or geographies? So Abby.
Yeah, I think there's probably two main challenges that at least we see from a fulfillment perspective, right? As Allison was saying, there's a lot of other things happening, particularly around advertising and social that you have to think about and your website. But at least from a fulfillment and operational excellence perspective, the two things that I hear the most from sellers that use us is, how do I manage my inventory across multiple channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
You end up having to split across maybe your own warehouse, maybe a 3PL, and then you've got FBA inventory, and essentially trying to maintain stock across that can be time consuming and expensive, right? Because now you're spending money to replicate your inventory. And the second thing is adhering to marketplace guidelines, right? We know that you're not just selling on your own website, you're also selling on other marketplaces. And they have requirements that they want you to meet to be able to sell on those marketplaces. And so, we really sort of honed in on this a lot, right? In terms of trying to make sure that we can support you wherever you're selling, regardless of where the transaction is happening. And so, one of the things that we talk about a lot is, hey, with MCF, you can basically combine your entire inventory pool and be in stock across all your different channels, hold less inventory so you're not replicating it. But more importantly, we've been investing in ways to help you meet those marketplace requirements, right? So we have a tracking website that is pretty generic. It's called swishup.com, which provides you with end-to-end customer tracking information that you can send to your customer. We have an unbranded packaging program within MCF, so your package doesn't show up with an Amazon Smile in the box. And then lastly, we can even block the ability to ship orders in with Amazon Logistics as the carrier, right? A lot of marketplaces don't allow that. And so for a small fee, you can essentially exclude that carrier in your shipments, and we'll guarantee that. So, we're really trying to help kind of make this multi-channel fulfillment experience as efficient as possible, and are looking to invest in ways to make that simpler.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's brilliant. Alison, over to you on this one.
Oh, cool. Right. I thought you were going to ask me a question. Sorry, Fiona. Yeah. So, I think when we look at FBA and how folks then leverage that as multi-channel fulfillment, we certainly see a large portion of our customer base engage with FBA as a fulfillment option. If you use Amazon as a fulfillment provider today, or you're considering leveraging FBA to help you expand to non-Amazon channels, there's a few things to note outside of the ones that Avi mentioned as features that they have, like the unbranded box or the ability to block Amazon as a logistics carrier. I think other important ones to note that are supported through our platform: you need to ensure that your lead times for the new marketplaces in the existing region take into account what you typically see today for FBA. The last thing you want to do when you expand to that new channel is overpromise and underdeliver on your lead times. Those are going to get you dinged on your seller metrics. It's a terrible buyer experience. So you need to make sure you have a good sense of those typical handling times so that you can represent that accurately to the buyer on your non-Amazon site listing. If Amazon is your primary selling channel, I would anticipate how launching on that new marketplace will impact current available inventory quantities. As Avi mentioned, you need to make sure that that inbound inventory calculation is taking into account any anticipated increases in demand or lift in sales from that new channel. And lastly, if you're expanding into a new region and you want to use FBA to fulfill there, you really need to prepare ahead of time from a tax and business perspective to launch in that region. Those typically have the longest lead time to set up and make sure that those things are solid compared to just selling on an additional channel in your current region. But once you are set up there, I would say it is fairly easy to then ramp the use of FBA as a fulfillment option for the other channels. It's mostly about making sure you have your business established there and you're ready to go.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I mean, there's some great insights there. Managing lead times, managing inventory, regional plus marketplace guidelines. Some of the big challenges to bear in mind as people look to expand into different channels and geographies. That's great. Thanks very much. So the next question I'll direct at Darren and Alison, and I'll start with Darren. Darren, what steps can a seller take when expanding into a new marketplace to make sure that customer experience is consistent regardless of the channel?
Right. As Alison and Abby covered, multi-channel is when an online merchant sells products across multiple marketplaces and platforms rather than just one place. An omni-channel strategy takes a multi-channel process a step further by creating an interconnected ecosystem of numerous touch points that all converge to support one joined up shopping journey, so that, as Alison said earlier, you're scaling your reach without sacrificing the customer experience. And for online businesses expanding into new marketplaces, maintaining a consistent customer experience across multiple geographies and channels, that can be tricky. So implementing an omni-channel customer-centric approach will allow your business to maintain a connected and cohesive shopping experience. But there's a few moving parts to that, and they kind of need to work together seamlessly for that to be successful. One, which Alison talked about earlier, is a unified look and feel. So regardless of what channel your customers use to purchase, they should recognize the brand, style, value, and traits of your shop. I mean, if you take communication channels, for example, one of our eDesk customers, Superdry, has an Amazon outlet, but the customer may also interact with them via social media, or a customer service telephone number, or the contact us form on their website. And all those interactions should have the brand's traits at their core. And secondly, having the right digital infrastructure is key to be able to tie up all your channels together without issues and handle the complexities that come with multiple marketplaces and geographies. For example, in eDesk, Insights provides a central dashboard view of all your customer interactions alongside agent, channel, and product performance, so you can spot and correct anomalies more easily. And while consistency is important, this connectivity helps identify channel-based nuances, like perhaps certain products cause issues in one geography rather than another. And in that case, there may be a need for a more localized approach to that product. So an omni-channel approach, when expanding to other marketplaces, improves customer satisfaction because it places your customer at the heart of everything, as Abby mentioned earlier, is core to this. And that improves reputation, loyalty, and unsurprisingly, revenue.
Yeah, brilliant. And Alison, the same question.
Yeah, I think to really make sure you can deliver a great customer experience when you're expanding to a new channel, I'd recommend for any client to start with a review and identify areas today that are limiting your ability to expand. Is it because you don't have the time or expertise to create new listings on a selling channel? Is it because you don't have the warehouse capacity for new demand or new sales? Have you previously had a negative experience expanding because it distracted the team from your primary selling channel? Or maybe you just don't know what new marketplace is the best to start on. There's a lot of, reasons that could be the case that you haven't expanded so far today. So I think you start there. And then once that review is finished, you really know where your constraints are. That can help inform your next step. Across the board, it is helpful to kind of centralize as much as possible from an operational perspective when you're talking about multiple selling channels and trying to make that experience consistent. Any type of expansion means you're taking on more. You need to be able to do that without doubling your efforts. At Channel Advisor, the way that our software works, we're really a hub for the management of things like quantities, pricing, content, fulfillment across many e-commerce touch points. And a lot of sellers, when they're coming to us and they're talking to us, they're really having struggle expanding because they've got all this risk related to outdated stock information or pricing or content, which reduces, it contributes to that negative buyer experience that can happen if you have that concern, and can really hamper your ability to expand. I would also recommend that any seller consider how the new channel you plan to add really fits into your e-commerce strategy. You're not just like blindly adding channels to add channels, right? Is the new channel to increase brand awareness for a specific buyer segment? Is it to test new products or launch new products in the market to gauge demand? Is it a broad retail channel where you expect to get mass market awareness for a product? This can help inform how you tweak your messaging and your approach for customers and really hone in on how you interact with that customer and what you can anticipate from a demand perspective or how you should represent your product on that channel. I think those will help you deliver that consistently great customer experience.
No, that's brilliant. Some amazing, I suppose, hints there for people who are looking at this. Some of the key steps, just to, I suppose, summarize to a little extent. Understanding your current capabilities and what's limiting your ability to expand right now, and how it fits in with your overarching strategy, and then making sure you've got the right infrastructure, digital infrastructure, centralized as much as possible to expand without doubling efforts, is probably the biggest, I suppose, heartbreak that most people probably experience, I would imagine. As came up on a previous question, it's about consistency across the different channels, from a look, a feel, a positioning, a messaging perspective. So thanks very much for all of those insights. The next question is one specifically about handling customer queries. So I'll direct this one to Darren. So Darren, what are the key areas that drive customer queries across the buyer journey?
Right. According to our research with Citizen Meet, which I referred to earlier, and looking at our data in aggregate across all of our sellers, the main reason for customer queries include about 43% reporting product problems as the main reasons for outreach to the company, followed by about 31% for shipping, delivery, 11% for returns, 9% product queries. Within eDesk, having an insight into all the data behind the customer queries allows businesses to make data-driven decisions around doubling down their efforts into particular products, or maybe changing or testing new suppliers or processes. For example, one of our customers who sells veterinary products was able to spot in eDesk a particular product contributing to a higher than normal volume of support. And she's able to drill into that and realized the root cause was packaging getting ripped during transit. And that meant she could experiment with alternatives to the outer packaging and validate whether that has had a meaningful impact or not. And another customer was split testing two different suppliers of the same products, and they each had a different SKU. And they were able to quantify the impact to the customer experience as measured by the difference in support.
Well, it's great. So, I mean, at the root of it, having data about your customers' pain points can really make a difference when you're trying to optimize that full end-to-end customer experience, which is great. So we've got our final question before we open to questions from the floor for the whole. So this one's directed at the full panel, but I'll start with Abhi again. You're my main man here today. So what is the opportunity for an Amazon only seller moving into other channels? So what type of growth can they expect?
Yeah, I think I'm not really positioned to answer what kind of growth they can expect, but certainly I think, we at Amazon recognize that you need other channels to reach a broader audience, right? Like Amazon by itself is obviously a great selling channel, but things like building your own website and having your own D2C channel as a brand owner is such an important tool for you to tell your own story, drive loyalty for your brand, as well as access channels that Amazon may not be able to help you with, right? Social media, or even just Google as a channel is such an important place for you to make sure that you that's where a lot of eyeballs are. So I think we totally support any sort of seller that's looking to diversify, looking to grow their business across these other channels. But I think it always comes back to sort of how can we help, right? We as multi-channel fulfillment want to make sure that we are here to meet your needs in the most efficient way that we can, right? And instead of being an adversary, like being sort of a partner with you in that journey. And so, it sort of comes back to a lot of things that I've said, right? We're building MCF in a way that we can help you consolidate inventory, have better fulfillment experience for your customer, right? With the reliability and speed that Amazon is known for. We're even doing other things. So for example, I know last year we had a lot of capacity constraints, and I saw a question about inbound lead times, right? We have tried to build MCF into the IPI score where you don't get negatively penalized for trying to expand your business, right? Similarly, there's inbound limits that we introduced last year, and we have built tools to actually incorporate MCF volume into that. So that you can actually expand your business and not be constrained to the volume that we're giving you. And then, like I said, like building trust at checkout, particularly if you have your own D2C website, is such an important thing, right? Where offering free shipping, offering fast shipping at cost-effective rates is just going to help you increase conversion, and it's going to help you be a lot more efficient. So those are the things that we're really trying to do and totally understand and support sort of the ability to go across channels.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. That's very insightful. Allison, over to you.
Yeah, I would say if you're an Amazon only seller and you're looking for kind of clues on what demand looks like for other marketplaces, at Channel Advisor, we support hundreds of marketplaces globally. Our successful clients, our most successful clients, sell on at least 5 channels on average. When we look at the e-commerce space, specifically in the US, the demand is concentrated on a few marketplaces. I'm sure you could name a few of those. But despite that, we're seeing an increase in year-over-year growth for what we refer to in Channel Advisor as the long tail of marketplaces. So, I think these channels typically are more niche for product verticals or categories attracting a very specific buyer segment, or even your own web store. And when we look at those combined, they're growing faster than our largest channels in the space. I would also add that in regions outside of the US, the market is much less concentrated on a few key players. The European market specifically is super fragmented. So a multi-channel selling strategy is key there. I think, once you've established operational processes on a single channel, specifically like you've got your playbook down for Amazon, the question to move to multi-channel profitably is really all about how you can add on without having to duplicate effort, because that's where you're going to see the best return. So how can you leverage what you know about customer support on Amazon or fulfillment on Amazon as you expand to that other channel? And if you're already inbounding to FBA, how can you reuse some of that inventory there so you're not kind of taking on that extra cost? I think that many channels take time to establish your presence. It's not overnight where you're going to see this like high sales volume, but over time, it can become a key channel for you with the right infrastructure in place if you've done it in a way that doesn't require a whole other team member every time you add a channel, for example, because then you've added to the bottom line. And I think maybe lastly, around like going to another channel, if I'm only Amazon, I think multi-channel strategies help diversify risk for your business, as well as enabling you to test new markets or channels that may be newer in the space and growing. If I look at when I started in e-commerce 10 years ago, it's funny to me to look back on it because everybody was like, sure, we can test Amazon first, just don't wreck my eBay business, right? We're in a very different space today than we were then, right? And if you're only in that single channel or only focusing on that one and not experimenting or understanding where other sources of demand are, you can get left behind or miss some opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks very much. And finally, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, as Alison and Abby said, multi-channel selling, it's a cost-effective opportunity to extend your reach and get in front of new customers. I've seen with many of our customers, they start on one channel, and once the support is streamlined and they're confident they're nailing that and they're providing extraordinary customer service, they then start to expand outwards into other channels. One of our customers just last week was telling us how, as they moved into other channels, it was getting incredibly difficult to effectively manage support from either a shared email account or having to monitor and jump between different marketplaces. So finding a way to centralize that process and without introducing complexity into the support model as they scale is key. And that's what we've achieved with eDesk.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And it's been a common thread through, all of the questions and answers here today. It's about being able to scale without, having to add extra resources, having to add extra systems and keeping sort of operational leanness while you do it. Also that sort of consistency of your communication and your brand. So, it's a fabulous opportunity, but, there are pitfalls along the way. And I suppose keeping very tight rein on your strategy will help you all get there. So thanks very much for answering my questions. So I'm going to turn it over to the floor now. So, let me just go through. Here we go. I'm going to, for Alison, if you don't mind, I'll start with you. So is Channel Advisor and MCF offered in other countries? So I presume that's other outside of the US, I presume.
Yeah. So today, Channel Advisor supports, so MCF, multi-channel fulfillment, is built off of the FBA platform. So you inbound your inventory to FBA, it then makes it available to other channels for fulfillment. So my answer to that is yes, Channel Advisor supports multi-channel fulfillment effectively in every region. Amazon supports FBA. So we connect to Amazon in every country Amazon supports globally, and in regions where FBA is a piece of that, yes, you can leverage that inventory for multi-channel. I will say that one of the benefits of leveraging that in the US were some of the product innovations that Abby mentioned, specifically around blank box, like an unbranded box, or blocking Amazon logistics, which we know other major retailers require if you're going to use that as a fulfillment source. So that's definitely a benefit and something you just have to keep in mind if you use it outside of the US.
Yeah.
Long-winded answer to your question.
No,
yes.
no.
Short answer. Yes.
Right. Perfect. So, Darren, this next one is for you. How easy is it to connect channels to eDesk?
Right, it's a great question. All of our 75 plus integrations, they're natively built. That basically means we're not introducing middleware to join the dots between you and the channel. And we chose that approach because it means we have more control over the user experience, which is something we're big believers in. So these aren't bolted onto eDesk or squeezed into the conversation or ticket view. It means, to answer your question, it's really easy to add an integration. We have an app store where you can find the marketplace or web store and connect to it. And in most cases, it's only a few clicks to activate. In every case, there's no tinkering involved, and you don't need any specialist knowledge to connect.
Oh, that's perfect. And a question for Abby. I've seen, Abby, you've been answering some of the questions in the tab as we've been going along. But here's one. Do I need to be an Amazon seller to use multi-channel fulfillment?
Yeah, so somebody asked that. So last year, we actually launched the ability for you to sign up to use multi-channel fulfillment without selling on Amazon. So essentially, you create a totally separate account that is just for fulfillment and has got nothing to do with your selling on Amazon account. And you kind of follow a similar process, right? Where we want you to have ASINs. We ask you to inbound, and you can place your orders, that are occurring on your own website or some other channel, and we will pick, pack, and ship those, and you can use Amazon's logistics for that. To learn more and sign up, you can go to supplychain.amazon.com, and there's like a little sign up link on the top right.
Okay, brilliant. And somebody's asked also just to connect with you afterwards, their email address, so we'll make sure we get you that as well. So if I go to Alison again, is there a limit on the number of channels you can set up and then use multi-channel fulfillment for in Channel Advisor?
So today, the way that the Channel Advisor product works is that you sign up for Marketplace's solution or a selling solution in Channel Advisor, and you basically have full run of court for the geographies you want to launch and the channels you want to connect. And if Amazon is a part of that strategy and FBA is a part of that strategy, you can add as many marketplaces or web stores as you need and connect that source of demand there. So no limit.
No limit. Brilliant. So Darren, this is one for you. This is from Scott. We're struggling with reviews at Amazon. Mm-hmm. How does Amazon address reviews and remain compliant with Amazon TOS?
I was just sending Scott a message, but I'm not as good a multitasker as Abby. Yes, so the question is, how do we in eDesk ensure compliance with Amazon's terms of service when initiating requests for or getting product reviews or seller feedback? We use Amazon's SP API, and essentially that means, in short, we are compliant with the terms of service. So any request for or product rating or seller feedback reviews that we pull in all go via Amazon's SP APIs. None of it goes outside of that, nor are we scraping any content. So in doing so, we guarantee compliance.
Okay, brilliant. And I've got one more question. Please, everybody, if you have any final questions, do add them to the question tab. This is for Abby. How does multi-channel fulfillment impact our inventory performance index scores?
Yeah, like I said, the short answer is it doesn't. The inventory performance index was really designed to, help you with your inventory performance on Amazon. And we have designed this in a way that because if you end up using MCF, you are not negatively penalized on the IPI index.
Okay, brilliant. So that wraps it from the questions to the floor, unless anybody has the last one. And I think everybody's been chatting with each other as well, which is great. I'll bring us this session to a close. Firstly, thank you so much to each of the panelists. You've shared some great insights and a lot of very helpful tips and I suppose challenges to watch out for to our customers who are looking to possibly expand their channels. And thank you to everybody who joined the webinar as well, and for asking such interesting questions to keep us all on our toes. We're recording. We've been recording this session, so you'll get everyone will get an email with a link to the recording, so you can have a look at it afterwards as well. And with that, I shall say good evening here, good morning in the States, and thanks everybody for joining.